I think carers and work is a very particular issue. I think it's done a number of things. I think it's done a number of things politically. For me, it enabled us to really develop a hook that made a difference to the way that politicians engage in the UK, because we managed to get a question on caring into the 2000 baseline survey on work-life balance, and discovered that there were almost as many men as women in the workforce who had caring responsibilities that had an impact on their work. That's the important thing. It was having an impact on them. And of course the government paid attention. Sadly, they paid attention because it was blokes. I think that because we have focused so long on a right to work, and because economic activity is seen as being how we value ourselves, that the issue of people having to give up work to care, people get it, that it makes more sense. If you say people's health suffers because they're caring, their mental health suffers because they're caring, they're socially isolated, what does that really mean? It's kind of fluffy stuff around the edges. But when someone has to give up their job, their income, can no longer save, pay a pension, that seems very, very concrete. But also, in public policy terms, we've spent years and years and years getting people into work, where they then drop out of work because of something that can be seen as a normal activity of daily living, then actually that becomes a significant issue. And we've managed on the back of that to do two things: to engage policymakers in a different way, so that we can help them to understand the supports they might put in place to stop that happening. It makes sense for them to do that far more than it does to make sense to support a family who are getting on with it. We do this, it's a 119 billion contribution, great, get on with it then, why wouldn't you? But actually, if you're going to watch significant numbers of people, 2.3 million people in the UK have given up work to care at some point, that's an extraordinary number. That has a huge impact, not only on their contribution in terms of tax, national insurance, whatever, but they're likely then to be on benefits. So you've got a double whammy for the Department for Work and Pensions, a double whammy for the Treasury. But also the whole of our public policy drive is to get people into work and keep them there. So it's, there is a huge contradiction in the system.
So in Australia, where there are 2.7 million carers, the replacement cost of those carers is over $40 billion a year. Our governments simply could not come up with that $40 billion, so are very happy to work with us to say, how can we assist to make sure those carers continue to provide the support they're providing and stay in the workforce. We know that if they're in the workforce, they're contributing to tax, they're not taking government transfers, they're not relying on a system that is overstretched. Clever governments have understood that they need to work with carer movements around how we keep carers doing what they're doing and employed. We must keep our most productive citizens in the workforce. We can't take everybody out to look after our ageing population. So clever governments have worked that out. Other governments are beginning to panic and go, we must find a way to acknowledge and support carers because we can't afford to do it.